Welcome back to another Conqueror's Blade video. Now once again, like the last one, this is part of a 4-part sponsored series by Conqueror's Blade, which I'm really excited to do because finally I got a sponsored offer that is actually related to the channel, which is great. Please do not come to me if you've got a mobile game. I do not. Do you know the best emails you get when it basically says, "Oh, I love your channel. Can you put our mobile game?" If you know my when have I ever done a mobile game? Anyway, we're getting off topic. Let's get back onto this Conqueror's Blade sponsor video. The first one was a quick introduction to the game, and this one is how to get started in Conqueror's Blade. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video on, I've already said the title. Yeah. Now, I might quickly warn this is gameplay shown from the beta testing, so it is not quite finished, but what we've got to show is quite exciting. First off, the whole aspect of Conqueror's Blade is to conquer the world. Now, put that and keep that at the back of your mind, since everything you're going to be doing through the start of the game is going to have knock-on effects to the mid and the later game, depending on who you choose to ally with and what you choose to do throughout your gameplay. You'll be declaring war and making peace, choosing allies, growing your army, finding new territories, and of course, most importantly, upgrading you, your character, and your armies. First off, you'll be thrown into a character customization screen, and there are so many classes to choose from. You can be anything from a light nimble archer, which is what I like to do because I like to sit at the back and just fire archers in. I saw some comments. I mean, calm down, it's not that bad, is it? Oh okay, fair enough. But maybe you want to be down at the front. Maybe you're actually good at games, so you could choose to be a big glaive guy and just go and smash people, or a sword and shield, which I later then did, as you'll see in some of the gameplay. But depending on what your playstyle is, make sure you choose the character to suit it, because you don't want to be charging in if you're a fast archer, but you'll be quicker at running a race. So maybe if you're French, that's more your thing. If you want to be down at the front, make sure you choose a better melee-focused class. But each of these classes have their own skills and abilities. For example, if you have an archer, you have a more powerful arrow if you press E, or you press Q and you'll fire multiple arrows at once. If you fire them right, you can get a lot of headshots at once and do a lot of damage from the right angle. Or maybe you're one of the sword and shield characters and you can have more of a massive attack with your sword, or shield bashing, which completely stun and destroy enemies, that can be very useful for either running away from battle or getting in the right position. Character customization is fun, but there's a lot for you to choose and do that yourself. You can do the eyebrows, you can do the nose. I'm not going to go into that. We could be here for ages, so let's move on to the tutorials. Now, I know a lot of people don't like tutorials, but I'm going to persuade you why you shouldn't skip them. You can skip the tutorials if that's not really your thing, or the tutorial missions you can skip. You still have to do, I would say, a fair bit of walking between different characters, talking to them, getting quests, completing them, to take you through the first steps of the game. But when you go and do the battles, you can skip those tutorial battles. But I'm going to put it to you that you should not do that in this game, because there's quite a lot to learn, so you might as well start from the beginning instead of getting bogged down in the later stages. There's 3 main stages to this: the starting when you're on your own, when you first join other people and into alliances, and then when you're fully in and doing these big battles. There's quite a lot to do in those later stages, so you might as well get the first tutorial bits out the way now so you know the basics of the game. You'll be going between characters and they'll giving you certain things to do. Now, a lot of them can just be delivering stuff, but it sort of just tries to tie you into the immersion, which, yeah, it can go on for a little bit long, but then when you get into battle, it's so worth it. You'll get into these small skirmishes, which will sort of tie into a mini little story for tutorials, but tell you how to play the game. For example, there'll be one on how to control your troops. That is one of the most important ones. I would definitely recommend not skipping that. Doing the formations, how to get them to follow you, how to get them to charge. There's so many different things that you can do with the troops. Oh my god, I know I said this in the last video, but the formations are so cool. I can't get over it. And then when you learn how to do them, seeing people actually use them in battle is so cool. Now, I'll be uploading a siege video later this week where you'll see my allies using a spear infantry in the siege circles like a testudo to guard a point. Oh my god, it looks so awesome. But you learn all this in the tutorial, so you shouldn't skip them. You'll also learn how characters work. You'll learn how to use your abilities to advantages, and like I said, how each of the gameplay, where you have to capture points, and that will then come into fruition when you go into the bigger battles. But once you've got the tutorials done, then you're allowed to go out. You're allowed to take it into the city, and you can choose between one of 2 regions. Now, at the moment, I don't think there's a massive difference between the regions, except from what they look like. I don't think it's going to extremely affect how you play, but I guess the houses and where you are on the map is different. So make sure you know where you want to go first, and then if you're on your own, I just pick for one character, one of the regions, and the other for the other character, so I sort of know what they're all about. But once you're in the city, you'll do a few things to introduce you to the city, and then you are free to wander around, and this is where the game starts to get a real big chunk of meat into it. And chunk meat, I don't know if that's meat's good. God, I hope there's no vegans on the Conqueror's Blade development team. I might not like that joke. But once you're in the city, you can buy and train troops. These troops will be extremely important, as you probably might guess, when you eventually get into the battles. Once you're level 7, you can actually join a house. These are made up by players, or you can actually make your own here. Now, once you're in a house, which if you request to join a house, it could take a while for them to accept it, so you could, if you've got a group of people, or you just want to make your own house and be the lord, you could do your own thing. From there, in the house, you can actually join their wars against other factions and take over and fight for territory. We'll get onto that a little bit later, because that's not something you'll be doing straight away. You'll want to buy better armor for yourself. Maybe the first 3 battles you do, you can do with the basic armor. That's what I did, because you might not have the money or the experience or the resources to do that just yet, but you can also do this for your troops. But with this, you'll have to craft the right armor, better shields, better swords, better armor for your guys, and you can actually buy the resources to do that, or you can go and collect the resources yourself. To do this, though, you need to be level 10, which doesn't actually take too long. I would say more 1 hour to 2 hours of gameplay to actually get to that, so it really doesn't take that long at all. And then you can leave the city and go and wander the open world. You go up to guy and say, let me go, and he'll do it. Then here, it looks very Mount and Blade, and this is what I absolutely love about this. The amount of difference that you can get, because it sort of feels like an MMO, then it feels like an RPG, then it sort of feels like a Mount and Bladey type game, all in one thing, and the amount of stuff you can do in here is amazing. You'll see the map zooms out, and here you have your little party. If you have troops, you'll be able to take them out, you'll be able to decide which troops you take with you, and they all have their own labor cost. Now you can see the labor cost in the corner, and that's how effective they'll be at gathering resources. Once you've done this, you can buy a wagon to fit in your materials and go on a wander. There'll be different resource points, such as mines and cloth and things like that, and leather, which you can then collect and then take them back to the city to craft. This will save a lot of money instead of buying the resources, but of course it will be at the expense of some time. So it's sort of balance up what you can actually do there, how quickly you want to level up your troops and armor. But as I said, you don't have to do that straight away. You'll be able to get into battles from pretty much the get-go, and my god, are these battles awesome. Press J and you can decide between a field battle or a siege battle. The field battles, you have to capture different points. You have a main base that you have to defend at all costs. You get buffs and things if you capture these points, and the enemy will lose their points, and of course if they do, they lose. And there's healing points you can go to change your troops or heal yourself. But at the end of the day, the main base is what you have to defend. I played a battle where we captured the majority of the points, but some of the enemies managed to get around us and capture our main field base at the back, and they ended up winning because there was no one there to defend it. It's sort of similar in sieges, but it feels a little bit more linear here. But because the scale is a lot bigger, I actually prefer sieges, and I think they're absolutely awesome. There's things like siege engines you can use with weaponry, cannons and ballistas and battering rams. You can even get your soldiers to use the battering rams and your soldiers to climb up ladders, and my god, it looks absolutely awesome. Later on in the week, as I said, I've got a video on a field battle and a video on a full siege battle, so make sure you watch out for them, because my god, they look absolutely awesome. You'll see me using the cannons, you'll see me and my guys climbing up the ladders, and ultimately trying to not get destroyed. But also, like I said, if you're in a house, you can actually join the wars that your house declares on. So they might make an alliance with a faction, or they might go to war with another faction. It completely depends on how the battle goes to whether you lose or gain territory throughout the course of the game. And like I said, the end goal is to conquer the map with your house. My god, there is so much to this game. This is probably the last post-commentary video I'll be doing on it about how you start the game. The next ones will be the meat of the game. You'll be able to see a field battle with some live commentary. Hopefully it's an exciting live commentary. Quite a lot happens in that. And the siege battle, which kind of still blows me away, the scale of that battle. So make sure you watch out for those videos later on. But thank you once again for sponsoring this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until then, guys, I will see you in the next one.